Okay, sorry, I was on mute. I couldn't wait to go live, but there's still a little bit of time left. But Allende just scored the put-away goal, and my heart's racing really, really quickly. Final whistle. Inter Miami wins the MLS Cup 3-1. This is the Dry Think dialogue. And Inter Miami are the MLS Cup champions. I'm your host, Scotty. I'll be joined in a minute by my co-host, Saur. My heart is racing so fast right now. Inter Miami did it. For a very long time, it looked like Vancouver was the better team. And when they equalized it, they looked like they were going to take it. But Messi had the magic moment, and then Rodrigo de Paul makes the run and the finish to give Inter Miami a 2-1 lead. And then at the death, Tadeo Allende puts it away and makes it 3-1. What a game. What a final. Let me start by just saying congratulations. Well, this is congratulations. No, it's no consolation, but Vancouver played like champions today, and so no shame, I don't think. And Inter Miami, I think, for a long period looked really, really under pressure. I thought the defense played really well, considering the amount of pressure they were put under. Obviously, I think with every player in this game, there's going to be moments that you wish you had back, but none of that matters because they got the victory, they got the result, and they're MLS Cup champions. I can't believe it. I'm sort of at a loss for words. I don't normally keep the game on after we go live, but I just want to watch the guys celebrate, and they look unbelievably happy, and it's amazing. 3-1 final score. Okay, I don't know what to say right now. I'm just gonna go to the chat until Saur comes and he gives me something to talk about. I'm sorry if I keep breathing into the microphone, but I just can't get it under control. Miami King says he got the score right. I love you guys, all the players, the Messi assists. Congratulations to Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets, who will retire with what I'm going to consider the greatest trophy of their careers, at least for the next 20 minutes. Inter Miami, I'm sorry. I know this is terrible way to start this. I have so many emotions and so over the top right now. Inter Miami, 3-1. They get an early goal with an over-the-ball top to Tadeo Allende. He tries to cross it over to Matteo Silvetti. Eddie Ocampo has to make a play on it, or it will be an easy tap-in for Silvetti. And, of course, unfortunately for him, that touch was into his own net. And then it was mostly Vancouver until the 70th minute. Inter Miami gives up a goal, but they were under pressure for much of the first half, come out in the second half. They don't really make any changes at halftime. The first change comes when Inter Miami takes out Baltasar Rodriguez for Telasco Segovia. And that still doesn't make the difference. Eventually, Vancouver breaks through, and it's 1-1, and then Inter Miami had to dig deep, and they still looked like they were going to give up a goal. And then you get the magic moment, and Messi gets on the ball in Vancouver territory, DePaul makes the run. I've recapped this already, but I don't know what else to say. So, Saur, welcome, and if you have any loud noises you need to make, I'm here for it.
No, the reason I'm late is because I already made the loud noises. I just wanted to sit and absorb and watch the players celebrate, man. This is the best feeling in the world when you support sports team. Guys, soak this in because this does not happen every single day. We're the MLS Cup champions. Inter Miami will finally have a star on top of their chest. And that's it. Redemption and vindication. That's the words of the day. Kings of the league, as Sean says. I am ecstatic, man. I don't know how to express myself in an overt way. That's why I just want to introspect and retrospect. But that's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful watching Jordi Alba play football. It's beautiful watching Sergio Busquets play football. Today we had to work for it. We had to play like champions to win. There were times in that game where I thought even when we were winning or drawing, it felt like we were losing. And I didn't like the way it was going. But in the end, the team dug down. They played like champions. They did exactly what they needed to do. And I told you, it will come down to mentality. It won't be about talent. It won't be about skills. It will be about mentality. The team had to fight more minutes than they actually were on the front foot. But at the end of the day, by hook or by crook, you win. And when you win the final, it doesn't matter how you do it. Credit to Vancouver. They took the game to Inter Miami. They looked like the better team for a large part. So they played really well and made this a very fun, a very exciting, a very nervy final. But my goodness, it feels good to be champions after what is a long season, man. So congratulations to every single Inter Miami fan. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Every time you guys come on board and watch our streams, it's the best feeling. And Scotty, man, this is it. This is the peak of what a football fandom looks like. So congratulations to you. Well done. And yeah, enjoy the next 2 months before we kick off again. But Inter Miami are the MLS Cup champions.
I remember when Pozuelo got traded to Inter Miami and they got form and they made it to the playoffs and they were the 7th seed. And I thought this was like the best thing that's happened. And it was the best thing that had happened to this team. And I remember that. And I can't believe they're here right now. One thing I want to say, MLS Cup final, Lionel Messi finishes with 2+ goal contributions. I was
about to text you at the 45-minute mark, and I was like, dude, Messi is off the pace. This isn't looking good. And then the second half, we were struggling. They scored. I was like, oh, man, I feel like this is going to be a long, long day. And we may have peaked a little early. And then Messi just took over the whole game. I was like, why did I ever doubt this man, dude? Why did I ever doubt this man? Oof.
Before that, I have to start here with Rodrigo DePaul. Obviously, we've given him a lot of flack, and I think we both realize there's a really talented player in there, but the lack of consistency and then when it's not right, it can be like pretty detrimental. To come through in that moment makes everything else not matter, because if you can be the guy that does that, then you're allowed to have off games. Like you are. And that game changed because Rodrigo DePaul put the ball in the back of the net. In Vancouver, before that happened, if he misses that, if he pushes it wide, if he pushes it into the chest of Takioka, we would have lost. We would have lost. And he doesn't, because he's a world champion, and he puts it in the back of the net. And that was it. Vancouver didn't have anything after that. Inter Miami took a sigh of relief. The new bodies that came on, Yannick Bright and Telasco Segovia, I think aided in bringing the pressure to Vancouver and alleviating some of the pressure on the back line. And then it also, I thought, made them better in possession. And then there was nervy moments, but it was never like it was before that goal after. And by the way, I will just say, Rodrigo DePaul, not just the goal, the last 20 minutes of the game defensively that's the best I've seen him. So, man of the match for me, period. Messi gets the goal contributions. Tadeo Allende gets the goal. He breaks the MLS record for most goals in a single MLS Cup playoffs. Legend. Inter Miami legend. Even if he never plays another minute, freaking legend for this playoff run. Rocco, I know maybe he would have wanted to do better on the one that Vancouver scores, but he has that huge block in the first half where it's a perfect opportunity for Vancouver, and he just stands tall and is right there and does not give an opening to, I believe it was Sabi. And then the defense, I know that probably every player on the defense, if this was a regular season game, we could nitpick a moment or five that you would want better. But considering the amount of pressure that they were under for 60 minutes of this game,
I would say 70.
They were outstanding on the whole, all four of them. And like, I don't. It was just awesome. It was just awesome. And by the way, the other thing I have to say is it would have been really fun if they just blew it out and they won 6-1 or whatever. But like, they earned the MLS Cup in that game. They absolutely had to dig deep, like you said, and they had to come up with something when there was seemingly nothing there. And they did it. And that's what champions do.
I'll pick up the thread. Rodrigo de Paul, I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch, even before the goal that he scored. He was everywhere in the middle, and he was the best midfielder that Inter Miami had out there. I thought Sergio Busquets had a really poor game, but I don't think it was because Sergio Busquets was bad. It was because Inter Miami's game plan was off from the start. I think the first 10 minutes Inter Miami looked really good because we were trying to go long. We were trying to bypass the midfield, and I understand what Javier Marchano was trying to do because the Vancouver midfield, my goodness, man. Kubas was everywhere. He locked Messi down for 75 minutes. And I thought to myself, I've been watching football since I was like 7 years old. I have never seen a game where my team is winning and it feels like we're losing.
Getting crushed. Not losing, getting crushed.
And it almost felt like it was inevitable that Vancouver was going to go ahead. It just felt inevitable until these players were just like, okay, we've played around enough. Now let's show them what we're made of. So I understand why Sergio Busquets did not look good, and I can forgive him for that. But Rodrigo de Paul was everywhere. He was eating up ground. He was running around. He was putting in tackles. I think it was a gritty game. It wasn't a pretty watch by any means. There were yellow cards flying around. I think half of the Vancouver team got booked on yellow. Inter Miami players were in a dangerous situation. But Rodrigo de Paul was, I agree with you, one of the best players for Inter Miami for the 90 minutes. But I want to credit the whole back line. You said it, and I'll reaffirm it. It's not that they did poorly or they were putting themselves under pressure. It was the lack of the midfield and the lack of Inter Miami playing through the middle and controlling the ball that put the backline under so much pressure. We were constantly going long and losing the second balls and allowing Vancouver to come on to us. And that meant Maxi Falcone, Noah Allen, Ian Frey, Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba could barely venture out into the final third. He had 3 touches into the Vancouver final third up until the 70th minute. So that goes to show Inter Miami was under the cosh. But my God, they were compact. They stood their ground. They were winning headers. They were putting in the tackles. Noah Allen, I thought, was the best defender today for us. Maxi Falcone was once again brilliant. There were a couple of moments where I was like, he should not have conceded that foul. But they did exactly what they needed to do. It wasn't a pretty watch, but that's what finals are about. You stay locked in for 90 minutes and you end up winning 3-1, even though it wasn't a 3-1 scoreline. This was all about the defense and it was all about the grit. It was brilliant to watch if you're an Inter Miami fan, just by the nature of the fight that we showed throughout the 90 minutes.
It was also... That Vancouver team has a lot of really good players, but I think they only have one great player. Yeah. And they're a really, really, really good team. But then when you get into the biggest moments of your season, That's what makes the great players great. And they were creating chances after chances, and Ali Ahmed was having success. Thomas Mueller and Brian White had like 3 headed opportunities.
Yeah.
And Brian White is a really good striker, but there's a difference between Brian White, who's a really good MLS striker, and Lionel Messi, obviously, but that was the difference today. Messi put the ball where it needed to go, and Brian White put it right at Rocco Rios Novo. And so the Stars, they did what they had to do in this game. And so, like, I'm sorry.
But I also want to credit the rest of the squad, man. Yes, I think the biggest part about Inter Miami winning this cup, winning the playoffs was the Stars. Absolutely. But for me, what's the most heartwarming thing throughout the last 7-8 games is the fact that the fringe players have started to come into their own. Allende with that lovely finish. I thought he could have squared that to Lasco Segovia to make it an easy finish, but he was confident enough to be like, nah, I'm going to just bury this. He gets that goal. He was very poor up until then. Silvetti, I thought, was again really good for whatever he was playing. As soon as there's a reason the tide changed as soon as Brighton Lasco Segovia came on.
Yeah. It did.
They controlled the middle as soon as they were on. And maybe we could have done that earlier, but I am so glad that Javier Marchano got to a point where he realizes who he needs to put on to wrest back the control of this game. I thought every single player who ran out today was worth their effort. And not a pretty watch by any means, but Inter Miami deserves to be champions.
They didn't. I don't think they got the game plan right. And I think there was a lot of players that didn't play particularly well, especially in the beginning. But I don't really want to go there because I'm just so happy right now.
We won.
You're absolutely right. And that's what matters. That's all that matters.
And Frey was so good as well on that side of the pitch. Ali Ahmed had barely anything to do in the first 35 minutes. And then it started to get a little... He was trying. Yeah.
Frey had him. And
he was struggling at the end as well. Yeah, man. I thought Baltazar again was slightly underwhelming, puts himself under a difficult position by getting that early yellow, but I credit to the whole team, man. They dug down. I was so nervous for the whole 90 minutes until that Allende goal went in. I just got up and I jumped on my couch and I was like, finally, because I would not have been able to watch the extra time for this game. It would have been. But credit to Vancouver, man. They played really well. They played very well.
Yeah, they did. So why don't you get to the chat, because I'm going to do something on Photoshop real quick that I think is going to be fun. So why don't you start with the chat?
I'm just waiting for the trophy ceremony, man. Miami King says, yes, I got it right, 3-1. I had a 2-1, and I thought, okay, maybe I get the score prediction right. It didn't feel like a 3-1, man. It didn't feel like a game, but it was such close margins. If Vancouver had scored that shot that they hit on the 2 posts, 2 uprights, this would have been a completely different game. Completely different game. Miami King says, love you guys, all the players, every single one of them had the heart of a champion tonight, man. Congratulations to Alba and Bussy. Yeah. This is the last time we've seen them kick a ball in a professional setting. It doesn't feel like it. It does not feel like it. I don't think I'll ever truly internalize that we're never going to see Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets play football again. Sean says, also, Kings of the League.
The fact that this is the last game at Chase Stadium, at Drive Pink Stadium, and they're celebrating the MLS Cup champions.
Dude, I love Mueller, man. I love Mueller. He's so good, man. He's such a class act.
They did a good job with him today, though. They did.
Yeah.
He had a big moment or two, but overall, they didn't let him.
He's also, I think, injured. He's not 100% fit, so I can understand why he wasn't at his best, but such a class player, man. Suarez is crying. Yeah, it's slightly sad that the nature of the game was such that we didn't get to see Suarez, but I want to take a moment and credit him as well. He's been very professional with this entire episode, but over the course of the season, he's still among the top Inter Miami scorers. So he did his part for this season. I know the the course of the season, the playoffs, has kind of changed his nature and role on this team. And I don't know what the future holds for him, whether this is his last game or not. But again, I just want to thank every single Inter Miami player, man. These moments don't come often enough in life, and you have to appreciate everyone who's contributed to this. Izzy says, thank you for everything, Messi, dude. He had to pull the rabbit out of his bag. Wins the ball from Sebastian Berhalter, I believe, or Cubas. Wins the ball from Cubas. Gets that through ball into Rodrigo de Paul. Has a goal contribution. Then again for Tadeo Allende. And then, of course, the first goal, he had the great dribble to come out of space on the right-hand side and create that opportunity. I thought, without him, we don't win tonight. Absolutely. Devin says, we did it. Climbed the mountain. This is it. This trophy makes Inter Miami's Messi era a success. Now, nobody can say that Messi came to Inter Miami and did nothing. Nobody can say that. So the fact that he won us our first MLS Cup, it's a vindication of everything that this project touted to be. And we were very critical of Javier Marchano, of where the direction of this project was going halfway through the season. We had some concerns, some criticisms. We were skeptical. And it wasn't up until the last 2 months that Inter Miami looked like they were on the right path. So credit to the coaching staff, to the front office for finally getting it right, finally getting us to a point where we can be comfortable and confident in our team. But it hasn't been an easy season by any means. If you think it has, it's been a long season, man. Long season.
Most games ever by an MLS team. Okay, Saur.
Yeah.
I got to stop.
And 100 goals.
I got to stop you. Right now, we have an overlay on top of us, and it says Raw Reaction as a Vancouver and Inter Miami logo and our faces and Dry Pink Dialogue. And if you see the little trophy right above the Dry Pink Dialogue,
the trophy.
You see that? You just keep an eye on that. How's that look? How does that
looks fantastic, man. I can't wait for them to drop the next year's kit. This is gonna be that looks beautiful. That looks beautiful, dude. We did it. We couldn't win 8 games in a row, so we instead won 4, lost 1, and then won 4.
Had to do that.
Thank God for Nashville, man. Okay, they're taking the trophy now, and I'm gonna just sit and watch that. So I'll let you take over for a second. I'll be selfish.
Sorry,
here.
I needed to focus on that. I couldn't get a goal. I was looking at gold stars, and I was like, that doesn't work right.
That looks nice.
Miami King says Busquets is crying. Actually, I do want to stop on what you said. The legacy of Inter Miami with Messi. I get that Messi's legacy is not going to be determined or affected by what happens at his time in Inter Miami. But
never.
But his Inter Miami legacy will be, and this is like 90% of it complete. And success achieved. Can they still stack trophies? Can they do it again? Can they win the CONCACAF Champions Cup? Like, I think there is, maybe more that you would want to get out of this, but now you get an A for it. And yes, there's an A++ to get still, but now you get an A.
The pressure's off.
You got this, and the pressure's off. So I think you're right. I think there's no way anyone can say this wasn't a success for Inter Miami. And I think if they never got this trophy, you would say that.
Of course.
And
this was the big one.
And maybe you would say that already about Busquets and Alba and the first half of the Messi project if they didn't get this today. And because they did, it's like the completion of this project with Suarez and with Busquets and with Jordi Alba. And, by the way, Tadeo Allende and maybe Rocco Rios Novo and maybe Ian Frey and there's a lot of guys on this team that I just
may not come back.
I just want everyone to just sit and appreciate this moment and this team as it is now, because you're not going to see this back again. And I think I'm just sitting back and enjoying the moment and appreciating this, because
And we all said at the start of the season, man, we all said it. If Inter Miami doesn't win anything, the one trophy that they need to win is the MLS Cup. And it will all be for, it'll be vindicated. We would be very happy with it. And we did it. This was so hard to achieve, man. There's so many teams in the MLS who've been here for years and haven't even sniffed the cup. So I don't even know if this happens again. So just enjoy this moment. My goodness. We all criticize the nature of the MLS with the regular season and the playoffs, and it makes it so hard to win the big one. And I know some teams have done it multiple times in LA Galaxy and LAFC, but this was such a difficult Eastern Conference. It took everything for Inter Miami to get out of that, finish in the top three. We had to beat Cincinnati away from home. I don't know how many teams can say that in the crunch game, knockout game, they're able to do it. We have the home game advantage today, but honestly, it didn't really Vancouver didn't feel like they had traveled the most across a continent.
No, they were ready for this game. Maybe it is time to talk about Vancouver for a minute because they played like champions today. Great game plan, really good players across the board. They had Miami under pressure, and like if you told them this is how the game was going to play out in terms of the flow state and the way the game was being played, like that's what they would dream of. And they were pulling it off, and they were doing it. And like if you're a Vancouver fan, man, the excitement I'm sure was palpable. And the other thing, you know, I know this is no consolation, but if you go to a final and you give up a goal in the first 5 minutes, and then you just never look competitive for the rest of the game, and it's 3-0 at halftime, like what happened to San Diego last week. Like you never have that moment where you really feel like you're in it and you really feel like you have a chance. You could really get excited and really get the emotions, and it can all overflow. Vancouver had that today, and so if you're going to lose, like you felt like you absolutely were in it. Maybe that makes it harder. Probably does, actually. But they played like champions today, too.
I honestly thought at the 60-minute mark, they were going to win it. They had the momentum and everything.
I also want to thank or congratulate, or whatever you want to say, everyone at the stadium, because that was the loudest I've ever heard driving stadium.
That was insane.
The atmosphere was great. And
both set of fans.
Especially when Miami scored. That was like the biggest. That's the most I've ever seen from a driving stadium crowd. So, I mean, shout out to all of them that's there. And EMZ is saying he's there at the stadium, and it's going to fall down because Inter Miami is the champions.
Messi's about to pick up the trophy, man.
Ashley says, coming at you from the supporters section. Vamos. I don't know what else to say, man. I'm like overwhelmed right now.
So this is what it feels like being a champion. They're about to pick up the trophy, and I know everyone's watching, so maybe we don't need to say much. We just need to appreciate this moment, applaud, and sit in silence perhaps for 30 seconds while Messi takes the trophy on the stage and allows the players to celebrate.
I am absolutely going to rewatch this as soon as we get off here.
There you go. Inter Miami, MLS Cup champions 2025, 2026. Well, 2024, 2025. Whew.
Just 2025, right?
Yeah, I guess. Oh my God, dude. Oh, thank God. I would not have wanted to sit on this podcast after a defeat. This feels so good. Chase Stadium, you've been fantastic.
I started thinking about it, dude. I did. I started thinking about having to do that.
Yeah,
come on,
absolutely.
Like,
that was a moment where I was like,
yeah,
nah.
Anton says sad Suarez didn't play at all. I will also say I thought there was a moment where bringing Suarez on may have been the right decision because they could do nothing going forward. And he would at least give you a little bit of quality to hopefully hold possession a little bit. I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on it, but it was creeping into my mind because they were playing really poorly for a portion. But they weathered the storm until the talent shone through, you know?
Yeah, no, they truly had to. There was no playing through the park. There was none of that whatsoever, at least for 70 minutes. It took a while. It took a while for them to start playing football. I feel like they had a plan to bypass the midfield and try and get the ball high up and over the top. and it worked for like the first goal, but they tried doing that and then they kept inviting the pressure onto them. So I also thought Suarez coming on might have been the move, but then as soon as you got Segovia on, as soon as you got Bright on, I thought they played really well with the ball. Bright again with his quintessential winning the ball in dangerous spaces. I thought that helped Rodrigo de Paul as well, who became immediately better, was able to push higher up, and then we saw what happened. So it was a game in ebbs and flows. It was by no means a linear Inter Miami victory. And that's what a final is like. You can't analyze it too much. You can't think about how you played, how you didn't play. I think if we lost, we would have probably thought about it. But I'm just glad that Inter Miami had the heart of a champion to continue on despite the storm. And we weathered it, as you said.
This may feel like we've never done a raw reaction where we celebrate the MLS Cup. So I don't know if we're doing this right or not, and so I apologize if this is all over the place. But I think we
should have like some streamers or something, man. Some, fireworks.
I was too nervous about jinxing it to plan for anything special. Yeah. I thought about this 2 years ago when we signed Messi about having a logo and designing with the star on top and just like having it ready for the day, and I just never wanted to. I was too afraid to jinx everything by doing it. But that's
how you can do it, man. Now you can do it. We can play around with as much. Well, we don't need to play around with Photoshop. Now we have the actual photos. And
when you think the new logo is going to come out, that's amazing.
Dude, Messi, 47 trophies in his career, man. That's amazing.
I was surprised the game plan didn't involve him more, or like they couldn't get him on the ball more. But again, it's like I don't care. They won.
Doesn't matter.
And he made the plays.
I'm done analyzing this anymore. It's done. We won.
His last 20 minutes, he really put in a lot of effort defensively.
It was his 20 minutes.
I also think, and Rodrigo de Paul and Yannick Bright too. Yeah. Like I think that was helpful like 3 times in just taking away possession, but then it just eats 2 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes off the clock every time you get the ball. Or, sorry, a minute every time, but you do it 2 or 3 times, and it's like those add up into victory. And then finally, as Vancouver has to put numbers forward, you get the ball through to Allende and you can close it out.
Dude, he had a role to play in every single goal. Every single goal, he was at the heart of it.
I know.
That's what he is, man. That's what he is.
Miami King says, RDP back to the form of a world champion. I mean, this game, more than not even the whole playoffs, this game, and not even the whole game, just the last 25 minutes, did more to change and help his reputation among Inter Miami fans than anything else. Because moments in these types of games are what it gets remembered. It really is.
Like if he'd ghosted tonight, everyone would have been like, why is he here? But the fact that he changed the game is...
Well, no, but even if he was just fine, even if it was just normal, like we would spend the entire offseason talking about, okay, we need more from him, and he's got to be like consistently good if he wants to replace Busquets. And it's like, now you don't have to have those conversations, I think.
Dude, because of Maxi Falcone as well. I'm just watching him on the screen, man. He deserves... He has been my MVP of the playoffs, man. He has truly been a gem of a find this playoffs. It's phenomenal what he's become as a player.
Also, I'm sure we've mentioned
Messi gets the MVP. Go on.
Of the game or of the tournament?
No. I mean of the regular season. Allende gets MVP of the playoffs. Who gets the MVP of the game?
Rodrigo de Paul. Rodrigo de Paul. That goal was everything. They were losing. Yeah. They were going to lose the game if he misses that shot, and he hits it, and that's the winner.
I think. Messi got it. I think Messi got it.
Doesn't in my heart. It's Rodrigo de Paul for the big moment.
Yeah.
Abhishek says, love from India. It's 4 a.m., but I'm in Miami in spirit. Congratulations for staying up and having it go our way.
It was worth it, man.
Miami King says, still feel sad for Busquets and Alba retirement.
Too soon.
Busquets looked like he retired last week, but it doesn't matter because they won. And by the way, like again, after the Rodrigo de Paul goal, he looked better. The entire team felt like they were kind of crumbling under the pressure and just couldn't hold possession, and they just couldn't do anything to get out of this just constant pressure that Vancouver was putting on them.
Yeah.
And then I don't even remember how Messi gets on the ball. Maybe it had to do with Segovia. I don't want to say that. I don't remember. But DePaul puts it in the back of the net, and then everything changed. And everyone just sort of took a deep breath, and then they played much better after. And Vancouver became the team under
Messi
pressure.
got on the ball because he won the ball from
Did he win
Andre
it?
Cubas.
Okay.
Yeah, he won it immediately. You know what it was? It felt like for the first half and the 10, 20 minutes of the second half, they were playing with lead in their legs. They looked leggy. They looked heavy. It was like Vancouver was running all around us, and they were running circles around us. And then something just lifted. As soon as that goal happened, I think that's what changed everything. But it felt like there was a couple of moments in that second half where the tide started to shift. Messi had that headed opportunity and a couple of others. But credit to them, man. It's hard to bring back the momentum without actually conceding goals. And they had to turn it around a lot.
Well, and that's why I give so much credit to Rodrigo DePaul, because like one moment can change everything, and he made the moment. He really did. Dr. T
Moments
says
win matches.
it's obvious from players' reactions how much this means to them. Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to go back and rewatch the post, the celebration. The defense, you always say, wins championships. And we haven't had to worry about our defense much these playoffs. So not just for this game, but the entire playoffs. They were huge. And in the first 5 games, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. In the first 5 games of the playoffs, they didn't have to play great defensively because the offense exploded. But in this game, they did. So again, I just want to give credit to those 4 guys, because individual mistakes they'll can learn from, sure. But on the whole, they played really, really well and kept Inter Miami in this game when Vancouver was trying to, take control and put away the game. And Miami said, no thanks, we got this. We also got helped by the bar on an occasion where it hit both
3
of those
times.
and then went out. Yeah, 3 times.
I have never been comfortable with this defense until the last 2 months, where I felt confidence in the defense with the way Maxi Falcone has been playing, with the way Noah Allen's put in performances, with the way Ian Freya has clicked into his own gear defensively. I think it was more a matter of having a stable defense, and they've built themselves into form. So let's give them credit where it's due. I don't know going into next season what our defense is going to look like, but if we go into next season with this defense, I'm going to think, yeah, let's do it. Let's run it back. This playoff run has been generational. Yeah, this run of playoff run has been
next year.
I think so as well.
It has to, because Balba's going to retire, but I think there might be some other changes there too. Miami King says he said before the game it's Mueller's destiny to lose.
They had 65% possession.
Dude, it was like 75% before in the second half, before Rodrigo DePaul's goal. Like, it was thorough, comprehensive. Wookie says, I never thought this would happen only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we were giving up on this team, man.
No, but to be fair, I always said they just need 2 Messi goal contributions per game, and they will get. And if they get them, they can win anything. And they got them. I did need it against NYCFC, I guess, but every other playoff win, they got the 2+ goal contributions for Messi. And that's like because he's Messi. By the way, 68 goal contributions on the season. So my 65 prediction, nailed it.
Well
maybe
done,
it's
man.
closer to like 71, 72 if you want to include the MLS hockey assist. But yeah.
Jesus. I'm looking at Allende's numbers, man.
You
My
Noobster
goodness.
says, how can I explain to my kids that Vancouver scored 2 goals and still lost 3-1?
Correct. That would have actually gone in because Silvetti was right there to finish it off.
Yeah. No, he had to make a play.
Happened.
I mean, he
Yeah,
could have.
yeah.
He could have not redirected it in his own goal. It is tough.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, that's true.
if he's just a
He could have
split
hit
second.
it. He could have hit it like anywhere across the field instead of his own goal. It would have not gone in. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Like, he had to make a play, but he didn't have to make that play.
Dude, it was written in the stars for us to win this game, man. Nothing was going to stop it. Nothing. The post was even in our favor today.
I know. And I thought it was going to go against us because that would have been if
Yeah.
Rocco makes the goal that they scored. Rocco gets to the ball but doesn't palm it strong enough to push
That
it
was-
wide. If that goes wide, we would have been calling that the save of the game from Rocco. There was a point in this game where I thought Rocco was our man of the match for sure.
Yeah, I agree. At one point, I was like, yeah, we're done, man. We're going to lose.
Barney says Vancouver better team today, but Inter Miami with Alba and Messi have been moments players since they aged. Not sure that was worded right. Upcode says Ian Frey locked down Ali Ahmed.
Yeah.
It's tough because he has the moment where Ali Ahmed scores, where he kind of let him free on the backside, and so that's his fault. But also, he shut him down like 18 other times. So that's my point: is if you want to nitpick a moment or two, like there will be a moment for everyone, or 6 for some players, or 15 for some players maybe. But ultimately, they also made up for that with a lot of really nice plays. So Ian Frey, and that was the right matchup, by the way. We talked about Cello.
Yeah.
Ali Ahmed is a dude. And the thing he does is not just run fast, he crosses people over. And we talked about this in the pregame show. It's really hard to do that if you have long to do it against a defender who has really long legs. That's exactly what Ian Frey has, and Ian Frey shut him down, man. That was awesome.
And I told you in the pregame show, there's going to be moments where Ian Frey, Jordi Alba get rinsed by Sabi and Ali Ahmed because they're good players, man. They're not easy players to play against. And we knew Vancouver would get opportunities. But yeah, everyone could have done better in certain situations, but I'm just glad that the result went in our favor. And we gave them so many fouls. I would love to see the foul statistics, but we gave them so many set pieces. And I'm baffled how we didn't concede one because this is a Vancouver team that's very good at set pieces. So for us to give away that many dangerous free kicks, we still managed to lock it down.
What I'm about to say doesn't matter because we won. But they were getting foul calls in set piece areas that we weren't getting in midfield, and that was kind of frustrating to me. Not changing the game, but there was like the foul was softer in our final third than it was in midfield, and that was kind of bothering me at one point. They finished with 10 total shots, and they fouled Inter Miami more than Miami fouled them, 23-22. But again, 514 passes to 275. They almost doubled Inter Miami in terms of control of the game, and that's what the possession would indicate, 65-35 overall. Yeah. Who was the final sub? Cello. And that was in like the 90th minute.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't know what to say. I'm so happy.
Can we do the post-game show already?
No, because I wouldn't know what to say then for that either.
Okay, fair. I don't think you're going to have anything to say tomorrow or day after or for another week, maybe for another month. I just want to soak this feeling in, man. I don't want to talk about the postseason. I don't want to talk about next season. We've just become champions of the MLS. And I want to, at least for a week or two, I just want to soak this feeling in. But I know you're going to make me talk about the roster decisions on Monday and then all the transfers. This is so good. This is great. I'm glad we won.
Well, we get to rewatch the game and talk about it tomorrow again for another 90 minutes. So,
dude, we won the game. We won the cup. That's it. 0. That's it. Done. We're done.
I know.
Next season, we can just chill.
Hash says, well, though, maybe it's because we did an hour pregame show every single game and a raw reaction every single game and a 90-minute post-game recap every single game. Maybe that's what made the team win, So I think maybe we have to repeat
absolutely. It was the driving dialogue that made the team win. Also, Javier Martrano clearly watches us, and he heard us when we said play Ian Frey. You have to bench Suarez. Well, he did that eventually. Take out Lujan. He did that eventually. So he heard us.
Hash makes a great point. Inter Miami qualifies for a couple things with this win, specifically, and something Inter Miami's never done before, the Campeones Cup, which is the winner of MLS versus the Liga MX overall winner. Obviously, Inter Miami's never participated in that, but I've never even thought about Inter Miami participating in that because I've never let myself imagine us winning this game. But now that we have, Inter Miami next year, throw another game on the schedule for a trophy. That's going to be pretty cool. It'll be against the Liga MX top tier team. And of course, in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, they're going to get, I don't think they get a bye into the round of 16. I think there's
one
two
more
buys.
opportunity for another
Do they
trophy.
get a bye? I think the two buys go to the defending champion and the Leagues Cup champion. I think. Although I might be wrong about that. Miami King says respect to Suarez, a great player. And for letting this happen the way it did. I think he deserves credit. Messi with a playoff record, 15 goal contributions, 6 goals, 9 assists, says King Z. That's incredible.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the Inter Miami Twitter, and they've just posted our first star forever, and the photo of our first star. So you have to go check it out. It's fantastic. Yeah, dude, this is a fantastic feeling. As a club to win your first MLS Cup, it's a moment of history, and it coincides with so many different moments of history. This is going to be huge. This is going to be fantastic. I don't know how many more MLS Cups Inter Miami is able to win in its history, but the first is always special.
I don't know what else to say, man.
We have 364 people watching across all platforms. Guys, we've just won the MLS Cup. Do us a favor, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. It's been a long season, and we've enjoyed every single moment. I know Scotty and I have had some moments where we haven't been on together. Our schedules haven't lined up, but the most fun is when we're all doing this at the same time, and you guys get involved in the chat. So I also want to thank every single person who joins us and contributes in the chat and makes this the experience that it is. Without it, it would not be for anything. If this wasn't a platform, I'd be sitting on my couch right now, just staring at my TV screen. So I'm glad I get to enjoy it with you guys.
Still making loud noises.
Yeah, of course.
Upcode says Javier Mascherano deserves props. Good subs at the right time. I will say, I think that first sub should have come at halftime. And again, we're nitpicking for no reason. But I do think that
We love to.
The first sub should have come at halftime because because it was obvious Baltasar was not in this game and that Segovia had to come in. I thought from like minute 20, that was obvious. If you get to halftime, I think you make the sub there because then you keep the window for later. When they make that sub in the 54th minute or something like that, you now only have 2 subs, and it means you only get to change the game one time with 4 substitutions, 2 windows. And you're going to have to save one for late because of a potential injury, which is exactly what Inter Miami needed. So I would have liked to see that sub made at halftime, but he did make the right substitution decisions in terms of personnel, for sure. And I do think Yannick Bright and Talasco Sokovia, who we have talked about over and over and over and over and over again as guys that maybe should be in the starting 11, and how, in the regular season, maybe we do need to consider them more, but because it's the playoffs and because only thing that matters is winning, like, it's okay for them to come off the bench. They stayed locked in and they came off the bench, and I think they made a huge difference in this game. So also huge shout out to Segovia and Yannick Bright, because really, really talented young players, but they stayed locked in and focused, and I think they made a huge difference in this game. Huge.
I think they were the best players on the pitch when they came on, along with Rodrigo de Paul and Messi.
I do too.
I thought they genuinely changed the course of the game. And it's ironic that the 2 players who come on actually deserve to be starting the game. So the fact that we have those options is such a spoiled party. I can't believe we're so spoiled for options. And I think Taylor Twellman said it. Inter Miami has evolved over the course of the season to the point where Talasco Segovia, who at, I think, the 10-game mark was our highest scorer, doesn't even get a start in the final of the MLS Cup. So it's brilliant having those options. And I think next year they are going to start. But kudos to them for sticking their head down and doing the job and changing the game for the better for us tonight.
Cynical Tube says, thank God for popcorn that's cooked right. And I will just say that bag of popcorn was the most delicious bag of popcorn I've had in a long, long time.
Best one. The best one. We're going to print out jerseys saying, don't burn the popcorn. That's happening. I'm going to print out some kit. By the way, this is Rodrigo de Paul's first trophy in his club career.
Really?
Yeah, he's never won a trophy in his club career. This is the first trophy that he's won. So now he has a World Cup to his name and the MLS Cup. And I wonder what's more cherishable to him.
I guess that's probably true for a lot of players, right? Although maybe not as many as we would think, because a lot of them won the Supporters Shield last year. But for Rocco, I'm sure. Maxi Falcone, probably not Maxi Falcone.
Dude,
Segovia,
Ian Frey is a champion.
Velasco Segovia.
Yannick Bright is a champion. Fafa Pico is a champion. Alan Obondo is a champion. He scored a goal this season, by the way. So he has a contribution to this season as well. Noah Allen, a champion. Dude, insane. We had a champion of the MLS on our podcast last season. That's what we can say now. Oh man, this feels great. This feels fantastic. Today Allende as well, man. What a story. I'm glad he was able to finish on a high note. It wouldn't have mattered if we'd lost the final tonight, but everything he did this offseason, it feels so good. Vindication is going to be my word for the day tomorrow.
You know, we're going to rewatch the game, as always. And we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Maybe a few times.
Maybe, I don't know how deep we'll break it down, but we'll certainly give out some awards. And then the next day, we're going to have to quickly turn our attention to what's next, because they're going to have to make roster decisions and all that stuff. So it's going to be a busy week, and you're going to see a lot of us over the next couple days. Firstly, to think about and celebrate this game and this win. And maybe we'll make it less about the game and more about the season tomorrow. But, then we're going to have to turn the page to next year. And so for right now, for tonight, I hope everyone just goes and has a drink or goes and celebrates in whatever way they think is appropriate. Because this is awesome. This is awesome.
We did it, man. All
right, Saur. I'm dying to go watch this post-game celebration. Any thoughts about this game? I don't know if we said anything of value for the last 55 minutes or if we just bumbled around with a big smile on our face. Feels like that's what I did. But it's sort of what my emotions are taking me right now. So if you have any final thoughts, I'll give it to you, and then we'll just go celebrate and enjoy this.
This is the emotional raw reaction. And this is the peak emotions that you would feel as a football fan when your team wins. So guys, just go out, enjoy it, soak this feeling, and we'll be back tomorrow to celebrate Inter Miami being the MLS Cup champions 2025. Nobody can take that away from us now. Nobody. Congrats to everyone.
I want to have the final word here because I do want to say something, and you touched on it already, but you and I, like 2 years ago, just, we talk ball, and we've talked ball since we've known each other for, almost a decade now. But like we just got on the phone and we're like, you want to do an Inter Miami podcast? And we did a couple episodes and didn't publish them and thought we sound really dumb. But eventually we went on, and so thank you for doing this with me. And then to everyone listening and watching and celebrating, hopefully right now, thank you for being a part of this. We remember when we got our first person to write a single chat while we were going live. I remember the first time we went live and thinking, man, there might be no one watching. And
No.
there might not have been the first time we
There-
went live.
First time there was definitely none. Second time maybe one person. I'm pretty sure that was my mom. And then-
But what this has grown into is just special and amazing, and it makes being a fan so fun. And I really just appreciate you guys for joining us and having your chats and talking ball with us. And so, thank you, Saur. Thank you to everyone who's listening, and I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I am and I will be. So,
and we'll be back next season. We'll be back,
we'll be
tomorrow.
back
And then we'll be back again on Monday. So you guys are not getting away with us at all.
All right, guys, go celebrate, go have fun, go have a wonderful night, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this and have a wonderful day.